Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing, topping on Newscast tonight. The Omnibus Territories Act passed the U.S. Senate last week. The measure passed Wednesday with unanimous consent from senators and includes 3 important provisions for the territory. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
The Omnibus Territories bill made it through the full Senate last week and just has to pass the House now and President Obama to become law. There are 3 provisions within the measure that apply to the Virgin Islands. 2 of those are energy provisions sponsored by Congresswoman Donna Christensen. The first piece calls for a study of the electric costs in insular areas and further directs the Secretary of the Interior to develop an energy plan for the VI. That plan will address the energy needs of each of the territories. The second piece increases the number of local households that can actually qualify for help under the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Act. A third provision asks the comptroller to report to Congress on whether or not the annual estimates or revenue forecasts are reasonable for the territories. The comptroller is also tasked with making recommendations to help improve the process of determining estimates and forecasts, but not all of the Congresswoman's provisions made it into the measure. Delegate Christensen expressed her disappointment that U.S. senators removed a provision that would have raised the amount of matching funds that the territories could waive from $200,000 to $500,000. 2 other pieces were previously dropped from the bill, one establishing a chief financial officer for the territory, and language that would set a St. Croix National Heritage Area. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Again, the bill must pass the U.S. House of Representatives and then be signed by the President before it can become law. Well, hundreds of people turned out Saturday for the 4th annual Housing Expo on St. Croix. More than 40 vendors were on hand and gave the public information on everything from the home buying process and insurance to floor tiles and solar panels. There were lots of giveaways and demonstrations, and Banco Popular introduced their new First Home Club.
It is a savings product that the bank and the Federal Home Loan Bank will match your savings towards purchase of your first home. So for every $1 you save, we will add $4 to your savings.
We're really thankful for the support of the community and for the support from our private partners as well as our government partners as well. We had a wonderful expo on St. Croix, and we're just asking our friends over at St. Thomas to come out to the UVI Sports and Fitness Center on Saturday, June 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. where we'll do it all over again. Happy Housing Month.
Okay, be sure to mark that on your calendar. The Territorial Hospital Board met Monday after the last meeting got canceled. CEOs Bernard Wheatley and Kendall Griffith gave reports on progress the hospitals are making, but they still had to deal with prevailing issues faced by the hospital system, including the hospital's revenue cycle. News 2's April Knight has that story.
At the Territorial Hospital Board meeting Monday, reports by both hospitals point to the same problem, getting money into the hospital system.
Collectively, what we're working on is to improve the cash position and focusing on the self-pay.
Apart from inadequate appropriations from the government, there's also the inefficient revenue cycle, where money owed by patients to the hospitals fall through the cracks. As Wallowee and Schneider try to improve their revenue cycles, they have to deal with a problem that is common among hospitals: uncompensated care and the challenge of holding patients accountable for their hospital bills. Hospital officials say the practice has turned into a culture.
Had a lot of gaps in terms of provision of the services and then going on to charge for the services.
Many times people have coverage, you just don't know. Many times people do give you wrong information, wrong names, wrong social security by design. And of course, once they leave, you can't bail.
The board also approved a contract between JFL and the advisory board, a company that is currently helping Schneider sort out its revenue cycle. The Territorial Board had several problems with this contract, including the high cost for JFL, $1.2 million, which is much higher in comparison than the amount charged to Schneider. That amount was whittled down to $560,000, but this time JFL pays the flat fee whether advisory board delivers or not.
We felt that we would still benefit and know there was no at-risk fee piece added to it.
The board voted Monday to approve it, citing the urgency with JFL. Now they're keeping their fingers crossed that advisory board can pull JFL out of this fiscal hole. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
The Territorial Board also approved new appointment, reappointments, and some policy manuals for JFL. They set a tentative meeting for July 16th. Well, in other news, cancer does not have to mean a death sentence. That was perhaps the biggest message at the 2014 American Cancer Society's Relay for Life of St. Thomas that was held Saturday, June 21st to Sunday, June 22nd. At the Charlotte Amalie High School Track and Field. Many joined teams to help finish the fight to eliminate cancer as a major health problem.
Step by step, one foot in front of the other. It's not easy walking the tracks 9 p.m. on a Saturday night. It's also not easy fighting cancer. Sometimes the only thing to do is keep moving.
It's a fight to live. It's a fight for people to live, to beat cancer. And so it's very important for us to keep on with this fight.
That is what the Relay for Life is all about.
It's the diagnosis. It is not a sentence.
Pedersen should know. He's a cancer survivor.
The secret in dealing with it is early detection and being willing to follow the directions of the physicians.
The events are held overnight as individuals and teams camp out on the track with the goal of keeping at least one team member on the track at all times throughout the evening. The success of Relay for Life and the ACS in reaching the financial goal is primarily through the efforts of the teams.
Cancer is a very expensive illness, and sometimes people come from the other islands here to get treated at CKCI.
My grandmother, she pretty much was my mother, and she died from cancer, and I know how it is because I had to take care of her the 2 weeks that she was alive, so I wanted to pay tribute.
We've come a long way. For example, my diagnosis was in '86. At that time, we didn't have what we have here, and I had to go several times a year to Philadelphia. And there were times when I would have to spend up to several months, 3 months of hotel days. And that's expensive. I have come to appreciate the assistance of the Cancer Society.
Well, congrats to all the participants, teams, and those with tents, including Innovative. Be sure to count on 2 to keep you updated on the amount of money that was raised at this year's Relay for Life on St. Thomas. St. Croix police are investigating a first-degree robbery that occurred at Quality Foods in Estate Castle Coakley on June 21st. Police were alerted by the 911 emergency dispatch just before 4 p.m. Police said one of the suspects exchanged gunfire with the police.
That suspect was wounded, and police are searching for the second suspect. Officers were on the scene within minutes and encountered the 2 suspects exiting the establishment. During the robbery, there were 2 adults and a child inside of the business. However, no one was injured. The suspects took an undisclosed amount of cash from the business. The injured suspect was taken by ambulance to the Governor Juan F. Louis Hospital and Medical Center, where medical staff said he was treated for 3 injuries caused by gunfire and remains in stable condition. The second suspect managed to escape, and police said they are following leads regarding the location of the suspect.
Police Commissioner Rodney Carrard Sr. recently released a statement on the status of the Virgin Islands Police Department consent decree in a meeting last week, Wednesday, attended by representatives from the Department of Justice and the Attorney General's office. The commissioner said the police department is making significant progress in complying with the provisions in the decree.
The VIPD demonstrated to the court its progress towards substantial compliance in the areas of the citizen complaint process and training. Based on the hearing outcome, it was clear to all involved that substantial progress has been made by the VIPD in these areas. Work continues by all involved to ensure that all areas in these 2 sections and the other sections outlined in the mandates are brought to substantial compliance as timely as possible.
Turning our attention overseas, President Obama held a White House summit on working families on Monday. The president's summit brought together major stakeholders to discuss how to make a difference in the lives of working families. At that summit, the president said the United States is the only developed country without paid maternity leave, and he said he wants to change that.
There are better decisions that we can make, and there are not so good decisions that we can make as a society to support this balance between work and family. There's only one developed country in the world that does not offer paid maternity leave, and that is us, and that is not the list you want to be on by your lonesome. It's time to change that, because all Americans should be able to afford to care for their families.
Keeping our eye on the economy, investors are watching as the fighting in Iraq is pushing up crude oil prices. Also, 1 in 4 Americans have no emergency savings, and that's according to a new survey from Bankrate.com. People between ages 30 and 49 are more likely than any other age group to have no savings. Here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow down 9, NASDAQ up, and S&P also down. Coming up on News 2, our summer fun segments continues. Another fun event you can add to your calendar. Plus, students from the Tuskegee's Youth Aviation Club will be taken to the skies this week. The Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals, or OBAP, are in St. Croix for the annual ACE Academy. Well, summertime is the time for fun and creativity. Speaking of creativity, how about some art classes for the summer? The Blue Mud in Christiansted, regular half-day art classes they're offering all summer long, Mondays and Wednesdays. What will you learn? Well, paper crafts, painting, collages, recycled objects, art, clay batik, paper mache, and much, much more. Students from ages 9 to 16 are welcome to attend. Younger than that can come with a parent. You can call 643-7203 for more information. That's the Blue Mud and Company Street, Christiansted, next to Island Tribe. Students from the Tuskegee's Youth Aviation Club will be taken to the skies this week. The Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals, or OBAP, are in St. Croix for the annual ACE Academy, and organizers held a welcome reception for students and their parents Sunday. That's OBAP. The summer program is designed to introduce middle and high schoolers to the aviation industry.
Piloting aircraft is something that I chose to do for my career, and I'm here to encourage students to do the same thing, to become airline pilots or just military pilots, whatever the case may be. But as a whole, we're here to promote aviation, from air traffic control to being CEO of an airline, to being a pilot, to being a mechanic, to being director of operations, to being a teacher, just anything. And we want students to just consider aviation as a possible career field in general.
And congratulations to all the students taking part. Now, there is still time left to take part in this summer's most intensive dance convention happening all this week. Dancers of all ages hit the floor training Saturday with some of the top choreographers in the nation. It was all part of Le Fusion's summer intensive program.
This is actually the first time ever we had a convention, and I just started it because, I know a lot of the choreographers and all-stars, and I was like, we need something on St. Croix that's different, something that bring kids together. I would love the opportunity for that community help, even with food or water, even gas here, just sponsoring something instead of, oh, I can't give a cash donation. If they would like to give a cash donation, they could donate to sponsoring a child that would like to attend.
If you would like to participate or provide a donation for the dance convention, you can contact Ms. Williams at 626-6768. You can also find her on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Le Fusion Dance. Well, festival events are heating up. 6 young ladies vied for Miss St. John, the title, 2014, on Saturday, June 21st at the Winston Wells Ballpark. Carol Thomas emerged as the winner. Here is the Queen as she introduced her court the following Sunday.
My name is Carol Thomas, and I'm your 2014 Festival Queen. We have here today our first runner-up which is Makeda. Our second runner-up, which is Daisy Turnbull. Our third runner-up, which is Chevelle Nicholas. Contestant number 4, Tori Challenger. And contestant number 5, Makeda. Shakila Monsanto.
Join the Queen along with other queens of the past on Sunday to kick off the food fair at the Franklin Powell Park in Cruz Bay. Festival boat races took place on the same day. Some of the speediest boats in the island competed in the Cruz Bay Harbor. Hundreds of people gathered in Cruz Bay Park to sample food and enjoy another festival event, the food fair. Vendors came from all 3 islands to sell their wares. Dozens of vendors were out selling everything from conch to callaloo. There were also arts and crafts being sold, and of course, Governor John DeYoung was there. Wood turner Avelino Samuel was honored at the fair. Be sure to tune in on Tuesday. We will have more highlights from the fair. We'll be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.